Right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you have a question for Maria, please raise your hand. Um, Please state your name and your media outlet before your question. We will do questions in English first, and if we have any in Greek, we will do those at the end. To get things started, Maria, why don't you just talk about how you're feeling to be back here at Indian Wells for the first time in a bit?
Yeah, I think we all feel quite amazing and great to be back in the desert here. It's different conditions this year because it's a different month and it's very hot and it's conditions I like to play. But I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to be back here this year because we all thought that we were not gonna be able to come here and play. So yeah, it's great to be back and I think everyone's super excited.
All right. We'll go over to Courtney.
Hi, Maria. Welcome to California. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, great.
Okay, perfect. Um, uh, just talking a little bit about just preparation for this event and
Mhm.
also as you go into these final weeks of the tournament, kind of just what's your mindset? I know a few people, it's end of season, so fatigue can set in and things like that, and players have been talking a little bit about motivation and things like that. So, kind of where are you with respect to all of that right now?
Well, it would sound, crazy and stupid if I said that I'm not motivated because I'm trying to achieve one of the biggest goals of my career, for the first time, which is the finals. And I'm more motivated than I was the first week of the year because it's end of the season. I know that other players are tired. I know that other players don't have that goal. I know that, with a couple of good results, I'm probably gonna make it. It doesn't put me any stress. It doesn't make me feel any pressure, but I know that I can, and I see myself over there. Um, so my motivation is pretty high, and I'm feeling fresh. I'm keeping my body in, actually making clever decisions with practice and rest and everything in order for me to last until middle of November. And it feels great that we have that opportunity to be here and collect some points for the finals.
When it comes to that extra motivation that the finals can create, and you talk about it being a goal, how much of it is the goal of qualifying and playing the finals, and how much of it is what would ultimately be the result, probably, which is that you're going to finish top 10, which is also, a pretty significant thing as well. I mean, how do you kind of rank those two potential
Yeah,
accomplishments?
they're both big accomplishments because I could not imagine myself being in that position at the beginning of the year, and being here right now. I mean, I'm kind of like the next one to qualify. Not exactly, but because you know how it is. But it's great to be in that position. I really like the challenge, and I really enjoy that. I actually have a chance because yeah, it might sound crazy for someone that has played the finals like a couple of times or 3 or 4 times. Maybe their motivation is not as high as it's for me because yeah, let's be real, it's my first time and it's a goal. It's something big for a tennis player. It's one of the best tournaments in the world and it's only 8 players that get to play that. So it's just that I'm yeah, making the finals is a goal, but also finishing the highest I can in the top 10 is another goal, and it's a good challenge for me and a nice challenge.
What do you think that it says about you and your team and the work that you and Tom and everyone has done together that, it's easy to forget that you almost started the season, not exactly the start, but you landed in hard quarantine in Melbourne. There was a big curveball there after starting so well in Abu Dhabi. Not the whole season hasn't always gone the way I know that you guys wanted to, and you've had to kind of problem solve
Hmm.
through a lot of different sections of the season. That can be really exhausting. That can be take a lot of effort. But can you reflect a little bit on that about just the journey of your 2021 season that leads you to here?
Yeah, looking from the outside, you would say that my season was up and down, and of course having two semifinals in the slams was a big big result for me, and not only a big result, but it was something that I proved myself that it's time for you to make that extra step, and I actually did it in Ostrava. So I took my chances and my opportunities, and but I think we've been very clever with scheduling and rest, and Tom has been giving me a lot of days off during this year because probably he could see it more than I did that it's gonna be a long season. So he was prepared and ready for that, and it's very good that we have that communication of him letting me rest during the year and after the tournaments for like 3-4 days, and not getting me back on court after a couple of days like maybe other players do. So I would say that yeah, it has been a strange year, but it has been especially after Miami, it's been a very successful year for me, and I know that I can finish the year strong for sure. But I think the key was just good communication between the team, and you know, some people maybe don't realize how important it is to rest during the year because our season is 10 months, 11 months, so it's something that you have to do, and you have to plan, and you have to fit it in your extremely tough schedule.
One of the tough adjustments that players have to make when they go from, being a top 40 player to being a top 20, top 10 player is exactly that, the scheduling adjustments of not being a player that plays every week,
Yeah,
which lower ranked players obviously you have to do. And then they get higher and then but then you play fewer and you take more breaks and it can increase stress, right? Because you're not
of
always
course.
playing. So for you, I mean, how pleased are you? How impressed are you? What did you learn from yourself in terms of being able to make that transition really well this year in terms of, yeah, taking those designated breaks? Because for a player who's so physical like you and momentum player, I can imagine that there could be a little bit of anxiety coming out of like, oh, if I take a break, do I lose it?
Yeah.
And that sort
No,
of thing.
yeah,
But
I get what you're saying.
yeah,
It's exactly like that because I used to be a player that taking an extra day off than I was supposed to, I would feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my timing, I'm gonna lose my momentum. But I mean, getting a little bit older and more mature and realizing what's good for you and what's good for my body and my mentality and everything. I just feel like I have the right people around me that actually made me realize that the things they are saying and the things we're trying to achieve wouldn't be possible without a good scheduling. So I just realized that rest is more important than practicing sometimes, and I shouldn't panic if I don't practice for one day. I mean, I'm not gonna forget how to play or how to hit in one day. So it's just that it's a combination of like, as I mentioned before, good communication, good chemistry between all of us, and especially like learning how my body reacts well, how what I really need to do, and how important it is to give yourself a break during the season. Because before I used to be a player that I would play so much more, practice a lot more. Now, I mean, we are still practicing a lot, and but we're never overdoing it, which is very clever and very important.
yeah. Last question from me, if I could. Just when it comes to the highs that you've reached this year, have you been able to savor it? Have you been able to enjoy it? Take the, actually, yeah, appreciate what you've done. It's an incredible season,
Hmm.
but I also know that, as you said, the tour just keeps clicking on, and sometimes you guys don't take don't realize what you're doing while you're doing it. So, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's I still haven't really realized how well I've played this season and where I am right now. Like when I think that I'm top 10, sometimes it feels like I'm not familiar with that yet. Uh, but I think I'm gonna just get used to it because I see myself here. So and I don't want to sound arrogant, but it's just the way see myself. Um, I think I'll need a few weeks off after and like finishing the season and realizing what I've really done. It's I think during my 2 weeks off that after my last tournament, I'll realize what how good was my season and how good I've played and what I have achieved. But as I said, now it's it's not time to think of, oh, how good was US Open, how good was French, or how good was Miami, Ostrava. It's just that now I have to keep pushing and, keep the pressure and, uh, yeah, just do what I have to do.
Fair enough. Keep grinding. Awesome. Thank you very
Thanks.
much, Maria.
Thanks, Courtney.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, we'll move over to questions in Greek. If we have any, please raise your hand. All right. We're good to go. Thank you, Maria.